Vicente was very involved in the campaign of your new leader.
Yeah.
And so tell us also what happened. There, the Mexican election was not a snap election. It looked a lot more like what our election was until last week, which is now kind of like a snap election.
Yes. Yes.
But, it was a very long campaign. And at different times when we were with Sente over the course of the year, it wasn't a sure thing.
Yes.
And so tell us what you think has happened in terms of the politics in Mexico, and how's she doing?
Thank you very much for the inviting. I mean, for us, it's really nice to be here and share experiences, and obviously share hope as well. And talking about hope, in our case, Sente it's one of the it's the largest union in education in Mexico by far. But right now, if I tell you the truth, in 2018, it was really tough for us because the big change in Mexico happened in 2018. In fact, this government, it's called right now that it's taken the fourth transformation in the history of Mexico, because since revolution, it's changing a lot of things. So we had, for example, facing challenges, we had two constitutional reforms, one in 2013, really tough for us, and other in 2018. That's why we have to be different in timing. Our national leader, Maestro Alfonso Cepeda, had to change the strategy right now for how we're going to participate with in this campaign. So right now, for example, we have a left party government, but it's a lot of unions that are like now facing a lot of stuff. So what we did at the beginning was set an agenda. So in our case, part of our agenda was to acknowledge that many people in education, in our case, after this constitutional reform of 2013, need to change that part. So right now, the role of trade unions was essential for this government. We managed from 2018 to 2022, 23 to face a different stuff. Our elections right now officially are 90 days. But right now, to be honest, since last November, we did have a lot of movement because of the challenges we have to face. So for example, in our case, having the first woman elected, it was our main goal. In fact, our national leader was the first trade unionist to set that we're gonna go with her to support her inside her party and throughout the options we had. We make big events with her before she was elected candidate. So that helped a lot in timing, in political timing, to set what's the agenda that we're gonna face. Second of this, we set like a goal, a main goal in terms of election, which means we said we have 100 million people with the right to vote in this process. So we estimated a 60% participation, so 60 million voters, and we set the goal to have 10% of those votes for our candidate. So we face a lot of challenges to manage to accomplish that. At the end, we accomplished that by two main strategies: having one representative per school. I mean, we have 1.7 million members, active members in Sente. So we have to put like a goal per school, your family, and specific goals in every state, so we can have spaces. So the challenge was to have 5.9 million votes guaranteed, which is really tough in these timings, because of course you're right. Right parties says things that many people believe. So you have to set like the challenges that you're gonna face there. So once you have a goal of votes for that, the other thing is have spaces, political spaces gained. So right now, for example, we got, in our case, one Senate. Our national leader, it's going to be the first time in 20 years, is going to have a seat in the federal Senate, which is very important for us right now after having constitutional reforms. We have 12 House representatives in the federal House and 39 state representatives. So it's going to be a new challenge. In fact, we're going to have almost 300 spaces between city councils, between House representatives, between the Senate, and that was one of our main goals before this election. So we said like we have to be a key role for next president. We're gonna have spaces there. We need to face with decision making spaces, so obviously, and then we have to set how we're gonna accompany our candidate. So at the beginning it was really tough. We have two big united fronts, obviously the far right and the left, and it was really tough at the beginning. Right now we have to say, I mean, we had a really good last couple years with our president. Just to give you some example, we had pay increase, really important these 2 years, but we also had a pay increase during the pandemic, which we are one of the few unions that had a pay increase during the pandemic. And right now, for example, for education support staff, last year and the year before, we're having like a 76% pay increase for education support. And in our case, for teachers, between last year and this year only we have 16% pay increase, including, so it's really important for our national leader to get that. That's why, obviously, we have to be really supportive with our candidate and really specific with the goals we're going to set in every state. We are national union, and we have a lot of differences. Right now, for example, we began this electoral process with 24 states out of 32 that where the left party, Morena, was the one that it's ruling. The other states also have differences. So it was a really interesting process to set our agenda, and obviously pays, obviously health, our health system, which has right now we need reform. That's why it's important that our national general secretary is inside the Senate, because there's a spot that we can use. And from our perspective, this electoral process was, as the difference between 2018 and 2024 is that it's, even though this united front tried to get us back to the right, we needed to fight to continue this fourth transformation. So that's part of right now. I'm sorry if I took too much
it's great.
time.
And look, we, for those who don't know, we've had probably as long a relationship with Sente as anyone else, and the AFT has been responsible for making sure that Sente was welcomed back into EI and being now a part of EI in a real way. And so watching the growth and watching the embrace is really, for us, on a personal level, it's very, very, very meaningful.
I'm very, very grateful for
we're really
you.
glad. I
Yeah.
mean, we just, and you see it, I mean, I think you see it in Latin America. You saw one of the Colombia politicians here yesterday who really, there's a huge change in Colombia from where there was before. And Axel, who spoke who spoke yesterday as well, is the Labor candidate, and I think you got a sense, the Contreras candidate for the next president of Argentina. He is the governor of Buenos Aires. So you see you see something different, and I think Odile kind of said it in a way that I remember many conversations with you like 10 years ago and even earlier, where the unions didn't in France do the kind of political work that's being done right now. And I think that there's a sense that in order to get the economic work done or the education work, you have to do the political work, and that it's not just at the bargaining table, but it is, or just at the national bargaining level, it has to be this work as well. And the one thing I will say that there's a huge difference between our friends and our colleagues who are sitting here with us right now and the U.S. in that they have nationalized federal education systems, as opposed to state. Yes, there are states or municipalities or all these other things But the system is a federal education system.
Yeah.